is a member of the 680 family and a damn good dog.
Hutson Mason, quick throw, touchdown!
It's Hutson Mason, presented by Engineered Solutions of Georgia.
And Hut, another close game. Another game where you have to win or else you're going to be in uh-oh status. No uh-ohs. As the offense, the defense, and the onside kick, the special teams play and calls from Kirby Smart get the Dogs a 35-10 victory. When you win a game like that and all three phases are clearly a big part of it, what does that do for any doubt that people should have about this team when they keep winning no matter what is in front of them on a football field?
Well, I don't know how many people have doubt about Georgia at this point. I mean, the way they've played really since the Ole Miss game, especially Gunner, it's like, a team that is playing at a championship level and to me has a whole different ceiling than what I saw maybe the first month of the season. And so it is like a new team. I mean, it certainly is like a new quarterback. The level of play from Gunner and from this team is at a whole nother level. And I think it's a contribution or a compliment to Mike Bobo finally kind of settling in, knowing what his quarterback likes, Gunner getting more confidence. I mean, the big talking point was like the pass rush, and, man, Arch Manning had no time to throw Saturday night. So this is a well-oiled machine. This is absolutely so much fun as a Georgia fan to sit here and watch this. I mean, the one thing I took away, guys, is like 35-10 is the final score, but like you couldn't convince me, along with probably a lot of other fans out there, including Georgia fans, that there's a 25-point talent difference between those two teams. There's just not. So it's a referendum of culture and coaching that makes that up, and it's a great place to be right now if you're a Georgia football fan.
Hud, I also would add toughness in there, and that probably goes along with culture. Texas looks like a relatively soft team, and I think over 3 games against Georgia, that's how it's played out. Did you see it kind of the same way?
You know, yeah. I mean, Georgia is just so unique, man. I mean, how Kirby coaches and the buy-in and like when people say culture, like what does that mean, right? It's just such a buzzword. Like to me, like the way that you can just almost predict how Georgia is just going to strangle you to death in the second half. And really not only the second half of games, but year after year, we see Kirby's teams get better the second half of the season. And that feels the same exact way for this team. Like they are peaking. They are getting better. And the quarterback is getting better. The defense is getting better. And so, I didn't think Arch Manning really played all that bad between the drops and the penalties. Like, I thought he played good enough to win. Right. I felt bad for him, really. The amount of dirty pockets that poor kid had to throw under, he was just getting harassed all night in the pocket. That's the best pass rush I've seen Georgia have all year. And so, to me, it was really more about what Georgia was doing versus what Texas wasn't doing. That's how good Georgia was Saturday night.
Now, the answer is it doesn't matter. But the question is, make the SEC title game and become back-to-back champions potentially, or just win, you don't make it, and you get yourself a situation where you don't have to play in that game. What do you think, from a former player or from a fan, is the best way to approach the college football playoff for the Georgia Bulldog?
Could Georgia still get a home game if they don't win the SEC championship game?
They could. They could, but I think they end up with a bye even if they don't go to the SEC title game.
Because I think that's where fans are. And I think that's where I'm at. You've been to the SEC title game so many times, and I don't want to diminish it because it is still a heck of an accomplishment. But this day and age, it's like a home playoff game, which has never happened inside Sanford Stadium, obviously, to me would be a pretty cool feat versus another SEC title game. So, if I had to choose, if you're forcing me to choose one, I think I would go with that. But, they need a little help to get that. I think it's all about the home playoff game at this point.
What's next? I mean, it feels like Kirby has the right amount of execution where you peaked at the right time. You didn't do it too soon. What's next for the Georgia Bulldogs now that you've dealt with Ole Miss, you've dealt with Tennessee, you've dealt with Texas? What's next for these guys?
Who do they play this week?
Who, Georgia? They got Charlotte.
Yeah.
1-9 Charlotte.
And it's your FCS week.
Going to score 65 points.
You're going to play a team that's 1-9 in FCS.
Everybody in the SEC is playing somebody from there.
It's just, I mean,
B-Y-E. Is that how you spell bye?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it is. And then Georgia Tech. The Georgia Tech game is going to be fascinating because not only the matchup with two ranked teams, but you really, maybe the top storyline going into that, guys, will be the two quarterbacks. And could the winner of that game punch their ticket to New York for a seat, at least in the Heisman Trophy race?
Yep.
I mean, I think that's a real conversation, which is wild at this point, especially really more for Gunner. And it is a testament to, like, the last month of the season that he has had. I don't know if you guys have looked at, like, taken his numbers and, compared it to maybe other quarterbacks the last couple years that have made it to New York. Not necessarily won it, but made it to New York. I was looking last night because I even at this point was like, man, this Gunner Heisman thing feels like we're kind of a victim of the moment. Then I started looking at it, and I'm like, man, he's got a 94 QBR right now. Joe Burrow, the year that he won it, had a 95. Bryce Young, the year that he won it, had a 92. You go, okay, hey, that's one selective stat. Go look at his stats versus ranked teams. He's got 14 touchdowns. He's got a 78% completion percentage. Like, his numbers versus ranked teams are elite. And so when I put that in perspective, I'm like, man, this guy really could play himself into a seat in New York City. I still think it's I'm drawing a blank on the kid at Indiana's
Mendoza.
name.
Mendoza.
Oh, yeah.
I still think it's his to lose, but I had to, like, check myself this morning. I was like, oh, wow. And especially if he plays really well again against Georgia Tech, another ranked team, I think he absolutely could have a seat in New York City. So that'll be fascinating.
Hey, we'll have some special coverage, the fan special coverage of Clean Old-Fashioned Hate, and it's brought to you by attorney Ken Nugent, Georgia Heart Institute, Georgia Power, and Georgia's own credit union.
Do you think he gets hurt when you talk about Heisman, just to your point, having a seat by the Georgia machine? That's to say, his efficiency and his winning plays against the teams that are the big boys, as you just pointed out, are one thing, but because he doesn't have 30 touchdown passes, because he's not going to have, 4,000 yards passing because of the function of how Georgia wins games. Do you think that is going to be the one thing that hinders him from maybe getting that opportunity?
Yeah, he's not going to have the 4,000 yards passing. That's just not what Georgia's going to be about this year. So he'll have the 30 touchdowns. I think he's already at 27. So, again, I think he will play at a level. If you want to talk about being there, I think that's one thing. Winning it, I think, is a whole nother kind of conversation right now, just because there's other quarterbacks that are going to put up a little gaudier stats. So, but for us to even be talking about him being there at this point is incredible, because the first month of the year was a slow start for him, and this offense too. And ever since this Ole Miss game, man, it's like a whole new offense and a whole new quarterback. And so I think he has found his confidence. Confidence does wonders for quarterback. Mike Bobo, people have absolutely trashed him, Georgia fans.
It's ridiculous.
And he may have called the best game I've ever seen him call in the history of his Georgia career Saturday night. And so, I mean, Gunner is he's just low-key, man. He's playing at a high level, and his legs are a completely different they're an X factor for this offense. And so it's just a great place to be. I don't know if you guys heard Kirby Smart's post-game presser, but that might have been even better than the actual performance on the field. I watched it Saturday night. He's talking about Navy SEALs taking him down to the water, We're going to fight it out. He's talking about you're not coming to Georgia to cash checks. I played it for my daughters last night at dinner. I said, listen to this. We're not going to be about cashing checks in the Mason household. We're going to hit people. I mean, it had me fired up. It was better than the actual game.
Yeah, it was good, and it's what he's about, and it's a culture. He's built it, and he's no nonsense. Do we have it? You want to hear a piece of it?
I love it. Let me play it again.
Nowadays, they want to check. They don't want physicality. And if you have the check and no physicality, you end up with nothing. So we're not just getting checks at our place. We're hitting people.
Fire in the hole!
Do work.
Love it. Love it.
Get paid, you got to do work. That's what Kirby's saying.
The more I thought about it, and when I listened to that and thought about this morning and last night, I wouldn't mind Kirby Smart coaching my NFL football team. It changed the entire culture.
He's the best coach in college. That's why.
He's one of the top coaches in college football.
The best.
He can get you in there, and he'll change what you do and how you think about practice and working. And you think about how bad you have it as an NFL football player going through training camp. Bring in Kirby Smart and see what you feel like after that training camp.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up because I was thinking about this with the Falcons. My weekly feels like a colonoscopy appointment with you guys. Everybody says, Raheem, hey, he's a player's coach. What does that mean? You know what that means to me? He's so nice that he lacks accountability. Like, he would rather have great relationships with his players than hold people accountable. I don't really care to be called. If I'm a coach, I don't know that I want to be called a player's coach because it feels like a backhanded compliment for a guy who doesn't hold people accountable, doesn't have a standard, and is just a nice guy.
That's right.
I don't want a Tony Robbins. That's what he is. He's a motivational speaker that gets up there and shakes his pom-poms and makes you feel good. And you know what? Players don't want that either. They really don't. At the end of the day, players want to win. And you know what wins? Accountability, details, hard coaching, what Mike Vrabel, Harbaugh. It's what the Sean McVays, the Kyle Shanahans. They're not a bunch of Tony Robbins. They don't get up there and say, oh, you know what? Like, it doesn't do any good to get on the players and yell at them. What does that do any good? You're missing it, Raheem. You're totally missing it. And the other guy that's missing is Arthur Blank. So it's the blind leading the blind in Flowery Branch. It's depressing for Atlanta Falcons fans, but you're right, Finn. I mean, it's about accountability, and it's about holding people to a standard.
Right.
And the Falcons don't have it. They don't have it in the building, and they certainly don't have it in the leadership position of the guy leading the franchise.
Right now, there's no standard, there's no culture right now, and that's why, in part, there's no winning. Always winning when we get a chance to talk to you, Hud. We look forward to catching up with you next week.
All right, look forward to it. Call me on time next week.